My experience for applying for jobs was after I graduated in 2014 with a 2-1 in history and politics. I spent roughly about 3 months unemployed, but throughout that period I was constantly applying for jobs specifically to work with people with autism, and after that I got a few interviews, a couple of failures, but I got a job here at the Learning Support Centre and a job in Loughborough supporting autistics in a care home situation. So all in all, I wasn't that long on benefits, but I was trying to plod my way through job applications as much as I physically was able to do so. For me, I did disclose on my applications that I had Asperger's syndrome, and when I went to, because I was on job seekers, I went to see my jobs coach about the whole thing, about how to structure my CV and what have you, and she told me to take it out, but I left it in because I thought being truthful with an employer would be the first step of starting a positive relationship with the employer. What the employer should do when interviewing people like me is to try and create a calm, sensory-less environment in which it's all calm, it's all nice, and it's all basically allowing the person to explain who they are, why they think they're good for the job, and they can go from there. Because typically in an interview situation, you on one side of the table, then 2 or 3 people are on the other, basically asking you questions, and for me that produced a lot of ums and ahs and ers and what have you, which, coupled with the fact that for me I was having a physical reaction as well because I was like sweating a lot, that made me came across as nervous and not overly professional. But if it had been in a more relaxed, calming environment, I would have not felt that way, and maybe just being interviewed by one person rather than a whole team would have been beneficial to the interview process and allowed me to actually explain myself fully and to sell myself and sell my skills to the best of my ability without having to deal with all sorts of external stimuli. What makes the Learning Support Centre a good employer is the fact that they work in the field of academic support and they deal with people with various sorts of conditions, so they've got first-hand experience of those conditions, which means that when people apply for jobs like me, they know a lot about Asperger's and autism, which means that they tend to see the person rather than the condition, whereas in other companies they tend to see the condition first, then the person. My future career plans at this point are to go back to university and do a Masters in History this year, and then from there I hope to be able to do a PhD to become a history lecturer, because after graduating from Montfort University in 2014, I thought that being a lecturer would allow me to further my interest with history and allow me to further specify into that area of interest for me. What advice I would give to an employer who's got an employee on the autistic spectrum is the fact that never ever doubt their abilities, because they will constantly surprise you on what they can do. For an example, recently on, I think it was BBC or Channel 4, they did a series called Employable Me, and they had this autistic lad who basically solved a computer problem in 4 hours, whereas a normal member of staff would have taken 1 or 2 days to have it fixed, because people on the autistic spectrum are highly focused, they highly specialise, and they get things done in an intelligent and clear, concise manner, which would be beneficial to any workforce.